Hello and welcome to Calypten News, your one-stop for short and precise global news every day. Let's start today's briefing. Trump announces Israel-Iran ceasefire. President Trump declared a complete and total ceasefire between Israel and Iran after 12 days of conflict, initiated at midnight ET for Iran and 12 hours later for Israel. Iran confirmed via Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi. Israel has yet to officially comment. Iran attacks U.S. base in Qatar. On June 23, Iran launched 14 ballistic missiles at the U.S. Al Udeid airbase in Qatar in retaliation for U.S. strikes on Iranian nuclear sites. Qatari and U.S. defenses intercepted all but one missile. No casualties were reported. Ceasefire violations and strikes. Despite Trump's ceasefire announcement, Iran reportedly launched missiles at Beersheba, killing at least 3. Israel responded with airstrikes near Tehran. Israel's defense minister confirmed retaliatory orders, while Iran denies violating the ceasefire. U.S. cities ramp up security. New York, Los Angeles, Washington, D.C. increased police patrols around synagogues, mosques, transit hubs, and cultural sites as a precaution following U.S. strikes in Iran. No credible threats detected, but officials say measures are out of an abundance of caution. Supreme Court allows swift deportations. In a 6-3 decision on June 23, the U.S. Supreme Court permitted the Trump administration to swiftly deport migrants to third countries, even if not their origin, without hearings. Liberals dissented, warning this risks exposing migrants to torture or death. EU-Canada Defense Pact. At the Brussels summit on June 23, the EU and Canada signed their first military cooperation deal with an American nation. The pact covers crisis management, cybersecurity, space, maritime security, arms control, and access for Canadian firms to the €150 billion Safe Procurement Program. Syria church suicide bombing. On June 22, a suicide bomber shot congregants during Mass at Damascus Mar Elias Greek Orthodox Church, then detonated a vest. Islamic State is blamed. At least 20 people died and 60+ injured. This marked the first suicide attack on a church in post-Assad Syria. Taliban restricts Afghan women. Under Taliban rule, Afghan women face total lack of autonomy, with sweeping bans on work, education, and movement. The humanitarian crisis deepens. 3.5 million children are severely malnourished, and rights activists decry systematic exclusion of women from public life. Bangladesh probes abuses under ex-PM Hasina. A government commission, led by interim leader Muhammad Yunus, is investigating over 250 forced disappearances and extrajudicial killings under Sheikh Hasina's 15-year rule. The commission warns that the culture of impunity continues, urging security forces to cooperate fully. India and Pakistan extend airspace bans. On June 23, Pakistan extended its closure of airspace to Indian aircraft, military and commercial, until July 23. India responded by similarly banning Pakistani flights until July 24. These reciprocal NOTAMs disrupt hundreds of weekly flights, causing longer routes and elevated operational costs. India slams OIC over Pakistan-influenced remarks. On June 23, India strongly rebuked the Organization of Islamic Cooperation for unwarranted and factually incorrect statements on Indian Muslims and Kashmir, accusing the OIC of echoing Pakistan's agenda and politicizing religious forums. India-China thaw continues with SCO visits and pilgrimage. NSA Ajit Doval and Defense Minister Rajnath Singh traveled to China for SCO meetings, the first such visit since the 2020 Galwan clashes. Simultaneously, the long-paused Kailash Mansarovar pilgrimage resumed after 5 years, symbolizing improved bilateral ties. DRDO offers 28 indigenous arms for emergency procurement. DRDO proposed emergency procurement of 28 domestically developed weapon systems, rockets, missiles, laser-guided bombs, torpedoes, under a 300 crore rupees cap per item, aimed at bolstering readiness and self-reliance post-Operation Sindoor. Oil prices plunge on ceasefire optimism. Brent crude fell as much as 7%, down to $67 to $69 per barrel, after Trump announced an Israel-Iran ceasefire. Markets reacted to eased Middle East risk. However, prices rebounded slightly amid doubts over the truce's durability. WMO warns extreme weather threatens Asia. WMO reported Asia is warming nearly twice the global average, sparking record heat waves, glacier loss, floods, cyclones, and droughts. Economies and ecosystems are under stress, striking a call for improved early warning systems and climate resilience. UN cuts and reforms stir criticism. On its 80th anniversary, the UN faces deep funding shortfalls. Proposals include 20% staff cuts, mergers of agencies, WFP, UNICEF, WHO, and operational consolidation to improve efficiency, sparking debate over rushed reforms. Moon time zone debate gains momentum. As lunar missions proliferate, ESA and NASA explore coordinated lunar time zone by 2026-27. A unified time standard would greatly assist future exploration, moon bases, and interagency cooperation. Neeraj Chopra eyes World Championship gold. Javelin star Neeraj Chopra, fresh from breaking 90 meters in Doha and winning in Paris, enters Ostrava's Golden Spike meet on June 24. His stated priority: securing a medal at the 2025 World Championships in Tokyo. Blackpink confirms July comeback. After a nearly 3-year hiatus, Blackpink will debut a brand new song on July 5-6, kicking off the Deadline World Tour at the Goyang Sports Complex in South Korea. The track will premiere live, marking their first full group release since Born Pink. U.S. Congress debates strikes on Iran. Following Trump's airstrikes on Iranian nuclear sites, Congress split sharply. Democrats, including Chuck Schumer and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, condemned the action as unconstitutional and are pushing war powers resolutions. Some Republicans, including Senate leaders, defended it as necessary. Legal authority and precedent are now hotly contested. Qatar-mediated ceasefire. Qatar's Prime Minister, Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdulrahman Al Thani, brokered a phased ceasefire after Trump informed Qatar's emir that Israel had agreed. Doha secured Iran's conditional acceptance through discussions with Tehran following its missile strike on Al Udeid. This brought both parties to the negotiation table. That is all for today. See you next time. If you find our news to be useful, don't forget to drop a comment and subscribe to our channel.